moving on to 49ers versus Cowboys. So I think that, the Cowboys are a great team with a great defense. I like the Niners odds in this game as well. It's going to be on Sunday Night Football. It's going to be a Niner home game. Tickets are super expensive. The cheapest tickets for this game, Mike, is like $450.
No, that sounds about right. I remember seeing early on in the season, there was like a chart of like the 10 most expensive games, and this was like, I think it might have been top 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I just think that the Cowboys, they lost Stephon Diggs' brother, Trayvon Diggs. He's out for the season with a torn ACL, and the Cowboys have lost to Arizona. Not that necessarily factors into this game, but I mean, when you've got the Niners offense playing like this, like who's going to outscore them? It will be a great measuring stick game because the Cowboys defense is good. So we'll be able to see like, Pittsburgh's defense was good, but I think the Cowboys defense is much better. And this will be great to see if they're still able to put up, 30 points. In the playoffs, they played against the Cowboys, and I think the Niners only ended up scoring 19 points. And that was Brock Purdy at the helm. That might have been Brock Purdy's only time failing to score 30. Besides the Eagles game where he got, knocked out of the game. But I'm talking about like when he started and finished the game. So it'll be interesting. Like, it's not the first time Purdy has seen this defense. So it's like, we'll see how Dallas adjusts to Purdy and how Purdy also adjusts to Dallas. But ultimately, I think McCaffrey's going to have a huge role. The defense has to step it up. My mind tells me that this should be a close game, but my heart tells me that the Niners make a statement on Sunday night against the Cowboys. I really have a great feeling about the Niners right now. I feel like, this is the Niners' year. I don't know if there's anybody who can stop the Niners right now but themselves. That's honestly how I feel right now. Mike, any thoughts about Niners Cowboys?
It'll definitely be. It might be the first primetime game that's really worth making sure that you watch. Like, I felt pretty strong about the Chiefs-Lions game, but by like the third quarter, I was doing something else, and then I just came back to see like the final 2 minutes. I can't really think of any other primetime games. I mean, the Raiders and Steelers game, it was already like both teams were 1-2 or whatever.
What about the Cowboys-Giants game? That was great.
Yeah, no. I don't know.
They gotta flex all the New York games out of primetime.
Yeah, it's a trend. I mean, New York and Dallas, even in years when Dallas is dog shit, they'll make sure they have 6+ primetime games. So, it'll definitely be interesting. The Cowboys are either absolutely demolishing teams or playing the Cardinals and somehow losing. They've been exceptional against the run, except for against the Cardinals for some reason. And I'm a firm believer that game planning is everything. Not everything. Like, obviously the players make a difference too, but like as far as matchups go, like it's not as simple as just, Dallas, Cardinals, Niners, because Dallas lost to the Cardinals and the Niners beat the Cardinals, right? It's like, clearly then the Niners are better. It's like, no, any given Sunday, the Cowboys could go out there and they can game plan correctly, or at least perfectly against Shanahan's game plan and whatnot and pull out a win. Do I think that happens on Sunday? If it were in Dallas, I'd probably pick the Cowboys. But right now, I don't think I can pick against the Niners.
I also cannot pick against the Niners. The Niners are humming right now. Purdy's got the team in a great spot. And I mean, it's looking more and more like Brock Purdy absolutely is the guy to lead this Niners team to the promised land. I have a great feeling about Purdy. And, I've had great feelings about quarterbacks in the past, but Purdy is actually showing results. And, we won a lot of games in 2019 as well. And Jimmy Garoppolo also had the small sample size, but Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't doing this. Jimmy Garoppolo had the strong run game behind him. And I mean, that's not saying that the Niner run game right now isn't great. It's fantastic with Christian McCaffrey, but Purdy dishes the ball out. He puts it where it needs to be. He knows where he wants to go with the ball. He's able to escape from the pocket. It's a whole nother element to this offense, and it's such a pleasure to watch. I think Purdy, as long as he's able to protect himself. I know the offensive line, like the right side, isn't so strong, but it seems like Purdy is able to. He knows. I think Dan Orlovsky sort of described it as Purdy knows when he's hot, and he drifts back, and he knows when the defenders are coming at him and when he needs to adjust himself in the pocket. So, I'm loving what I'm seeing out of Brock.
Yeah. One last thing I'll say about Dallas is the teams that they have beaten, and I mean the point differential is essentially in 3 games, their opponents these games that they've won, their opponents have scored a total of 13 points. But, and this is a big reason why I'm picking the Niners, the quarterbacks in those games that the Dallas Cowboys won were Daniel Jones, Zach Wilson, and Mac Jones.
Yeah.
So, now, and again, they lost to Josh Dobbs. Is it Josh?
Yeah.
Dobbs?
Joshua Dobbs.
So, yeah, I can't pick the Cowboys as much as at the end of the day, I just want to see a really good game. The last thing I want to see, I know you would disagree with this, but the last thing I want to see is the Niners just completely run over the Cowboys. Like, if I'm going to sit there and actually watch the game, I want it to be like back and forth, with occasional turnovers and whatnot, and just make it interesting. Like, if the Niners get up to a 21-3 lead, I'm just going to check out and leave. So
yeah, I mean, one thing I'm also like anticipating for this game is like I think the Niners will get a turnover or two. I think Dak Prescott, his tendency is to turn the ball over, and that seems to be, from what Lorenzo describes, what kills the Cowboys is the turnovers, and that might be partly the reason why the Cowboys traded for quarterback Trey Lance from the Niners, and I wonder if that has any sort of element or any significance to this game, because Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator of the Cowboys, knows the 49ers really well. Well, he knows Kyle Shanahan really well in particular, because he was the head coach when Shanahan was the offensive coordinator over in Atlanta. Trey Lance, I think knows the playbook. I wonder if they changed any of the calls. That might be that might be something interesting if Lance was more on the scout team this week, running, more of the Niner stuff, because Lance knew all the calls, where all the receivers were going to be, stuff like that. The first read, the second read. But really, at the NFL level, I feel like even defensive coordinators already know. So I don't know. I don't know how significant that would be. I know it was pretty significant like 20 years ago in the Super Bowl with John Gruden facing against his former team in the Raiders. Sorry to bring that up, Raider fans. But that might be like a little added dynamic. But I'm picking the 49ers over the Cowboys. I'm going to share my screen again so we can, show the spreadsheet. So versus Cowboys. So I've got 49ers. Mike, final prediction?
49ers.
Okay. And I hope that this is green by the time we hit the next video.